thanks for stopping by. I'd like to preface this video by saying it is not a knitting tutorial, but a means to have something playing in the background while you work on your own knitting project. If you're like me, you really like YouTube, but you find that a lot of the content you enjoy is very visually engaging, so you're several hours in watching videos and you haven't gotten nearly as far in your knitting project as you would have liked to. So this is my solution to that problem. So thank you for coming. As I mentioned earlier, if you are new to this series, you are, or at least if you're new to my channel, you are watching a video from my Knit Ahead for the Holiday series. And the purpose of this series is to keep me on track with my holiday projects that I have coming up for this holiday season in December. And here it is, almost July 1st. It's actually Friday, the 28th of June, as I'm filming this video, and I am almost about to wrap up one of my knitting projects, and so that's what we're going to be working on today. I visited this project earlier in one of my maybe fourth or third video that I shot of this series, and it is the classic watch cap from the Hats On book, and I'll link the ISBN in the description box below so that if you do care to look up this pattern yourself, you'll be able to find it. It is out of print. It was published in the mid-90s, mid-late 90s, so finding it might be a little tricky if you don't already have this pattern book on hand. Most of the photos are black and white except for some of the photos that are just of the hats themselves and people modeling them. But as far as the instructions goes, all of that is going to be in black and white. And I have my other videos that I talked about these hats that I've knit before, so I go into more detail about the book and everything. Coming up, hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to film as well on Saturday. I have some chores to do tonight. Actually, it's almost 10 o'clock in the morning and it's already very hot today, and I want to be a little modest, so I'm wearing one of my signature cardigans, but it is burning up. I'm melting. So you see I'm a little glowy, a little glistening. Part of that is just my skincare and everything, and then part of that is that my lip is about to melt off my face. And so I'm hoping not to spend entirely long time with you guys today, just so that I stay cool. I try to film earlier in the day so it's not the hottest point of the day, and I don't have my fan on because I just didn't feel like yelling all in that much, even though I'm still projecting my voice because of the mic situation, but even more so with the fan on full blast and probably a little bit closer to me. So we'll see how it goes today, and that'll probably determine on what happens tomorrow. But I do want to let you guys know that coming up this week, I will be off on Thursday to observe Independence Day with my employer, so I'll have an opportunity to film then as well, and possibly on Saturday. So you might get quite a few videos in the next few days from me if I am lucky. But I want to say one of those videos coming up is going to be me showing you the tam that I will start after I finish today's project. So if you haven't watched the other video, I am working on the classic watch cap. It is almost done. I'm at the crown part now. I chose to do the extra large size for my uncle. Whether or not he ever sees this video, truth be told, he has a big head and he's a bold man, and I obviously can't measure his head and didn't want to give away the fact that I was going to knit him a hat for this holiday, and did not want to ask my aunt to measure his head or try to conspicuously measure his head. But this is using the Cascade 220 sport weight superfine. Is it superfine merino? I left my package wrap downstairs in my project bag, but it's definitely merino wool. It's definitely Cascade 220, and it's some variation of their red that they have. And you can find that on yarn.com if you would like to purchase it yourself. My first video has the description of where I got the yarn, but I'll go ahead and link that below as well for today. And so for the extra large pattern, you have to knit 12 inches of just the body and a 1x1 rib. You also have a provisional cast on using a crochet chain that you then knit into, and this creates what they call the tubular yarn over cast on edge. And so when I take that off, it's going to have this kind of a rounded edge look, and I have the stockinette watch cap that's also knit with this tubular cast on. And I've finished that one, and when I'm done with everything, I'll have a recap of all of the finished projects for you guys so you can see what I did for this holiday, and all in one spot, all in one video. So for the crown, I thought I was going to get done last night, but some things came up, and additionally, I left this at work for the first 2 days of the week when I was not there. I was at a meeting on Monday, and then I took Tuesday off, and I filmed. But right now, we're a little bit behind, but not entirely behind because I'm almost done. So basically for the crown, you have to put them on DPNs, and you have to make sure your stitches are even depending on what size hat you're knitting, and the pattern just repeats around. Purl, okay, so you have to start each DPN with a purl, and then you purl, knit, purl, slip, slip, knit, knit, and work in pattern, and then at the end you knit two together. And so I'm pulling this tight because I noticed I was getting a little bit of a jog, and I'm hoping when I have enough yarn left over I can kind of tighten that up if I need to. Kind of just depends on how it all comes together at the end. So that's that purl, knit, purl, and slip, slip, knit, if I can get it to go through. Oh Lord, okay. Alrighty, and so work in pattern. So this is just the 1 by 1 part until I get to the last 2 stitches and knit 2 together. And I was telling one of my coworkers, actually the woman who gave me kind of like my whole starter kit for knitting with her destashed yarn and pattern books, and she asked what I was up to on Tuesday since I was off of work and not at the meeting like I was on Monday. I was like, oh, I knit. I didn't tell her about my channel and that I was knitting for the not only for the purpose of making a video, but also recording my progress. And I told her, you know, she asked, she's like, oh, are those for your Christmas gifts? And I said, yep, they're for my family for the holiday. And I said, yep, I'm so slow, I'm starting now. And she's like, no, like this is a good time because you're knitting pretty well. And I'm like, oh, I thought I was slow. So she kind of, she was probably being nice to me, but she gave me some perspective a little bit on that. If I'm starting these now, I have them all done. She said she was really slow because she's been working on, well, she started on a pair of socks, and I mentioned that in another video that I observed her knitting one of these socks, and she made it too short for her foot. So she didn't want to knit another one to match because she didn't even know who to give these socks to because she didn't know if it was going to be the right length for anybody. So she started over, so she's knitting a pair that are going to be long enough for her foot. And so she's going to have 3 in total, I guess. But she had mentioned the socks and how she hasn't started on the one that's going to be the right size for her yet. So that was like late winter, early spring, I think, when she was working on that. So I guess there's some perspective. But I know, like, when she's knitting, I think she knits faster than I do. So I guess it's just a matter of finding the time to knit and then, like, getting in the groove to do it. And that is something which is one of the reasons why I'm deciding to do this series, is because I find sometimes I have a hard time being motivated enough to just jump in. Like, I love it. Once I'm doing it, it's great, but it's just finding the time to set aside because I know it's going to be such a time time, I don't even, something that's going to take a lot of time out of my day to get far. But I was watching this one video on how to knit continental style, and it looks good. I believe I mentioned in another video that I just learned knitting by throwing online and have stuck with it and holding the yarn in my other hand or flicking with my right. Even though I'm left-handed, it's just awkward feeling, but throwing it feels comfortable to me. So, you know, if its speed is really, really, really my main concern, I suppose I can train my hands to work continental, but right now, as long as I'm making progress, I think I'm going to be okay. I just have to stay consistent. And that's why you guys are here, to watch me and knit with me and stay consistent. So hopefully we can keep each other going. So now we're on the end of that one. And for this particular size hat, I want to mention I need to have 6 stitches remaining on each needle before I can start knitting my very last 2 rounds, and then connect them all together and call it a day after, you know, weaving in that tail and stuff like that. So I have a bit to go. Let's see how far I am. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I'm at 16 stitches. So that's pretty good considering I started doing this on Wednesday. I finally knit my last 2 rounds of the body on Wednesday at lunch and started my my decrease. Oh my gosh, I'm losing it. I honestly, I woke up and I was like, it's gonna get hot today. Let me just get ready and film, and I haven't even had my coffee. When I'm off, I love to make a pot of coffee. Well, not even a pot. I just make 1 cup for myself and hang out, take my time in the morning, and then by early afternoon, I start filming. But my partner is off early today. I think they're off around noon or 12:30, and it's going to be hot, and I don't want to have to struggle with either being interrupted by a door slamming when they come home, or it being so like smoldering hot that I'm just dying while I'm talking to you guys and not really having a good time. And right now I'm still doing okay. I'm definitely glistening, but I'm not perspiring so much that I can feel it just like puddling everywhere. And I don't want that. And we actually have to, it's supposed to rain today too. It's a little overcast, and I didn't feel like turning on my light, but it's definitely going to rain today. There are some storms headed our way this whole weekend, and I think next week's supposed to be a little bit more of the same, hot and rainy. And we've already had a lot of rain, just not a lot of heat yet. And then I've talked about this before, but this Midwest, like the climate is just the pits. I really wish there was more of a spring. Like, I had barely any days where I was just comfortable being outside without being too hot or too cold. And then one day I wake up and it's 75, 80 degrees. Today I think it's supposed to be 87. Tomorrow I think it's supposed to be the same with some scattered thunderstorms. And, oh wait, no, I'm getting my days mixed up. Sunday, because that's when I'm supposed to be going to this barbecue. And I don't know what to do. I'm trying to think of what to wear. I mean, I don't have like any summer dresses, but I have some like maxi skirts that are flowy and some tank tops. But at the same time, if you're watching like my early videos, I was off for about a week, and part of the reason was because I had a procedure done and it was on my foot. And my foot is not 100% yet, and I can't really wear sandals, and it's hot, so I'm basically gonna have to wear like tennis shoes or a flat. But if it rains, we have to go inside, so I'll have to probably wear some like little sock thingies to go inside of my shoe. So if we are inside, I know this family will prefer people to have their shoes off while they're indoors, which makes sense if it's been muddy outside. But if I take my shoe off, I don't want my weird foot thing to be like seen. It's not even like it's a big deal. People aren't going to look at it and like, oh my gosh, but it's more for my personal preference of not having that exposed to the elements, and especially in places I'm not familiar with where I don't know what could happen to my foot, and I don't want to like backtrack with what healing process I've had. So I'll just say I'm probably going to look really weird and not dressed for the appropriate occasion based on my foot if it's going to rain and I have to go inside. But other than that, I'm excited. I'm going to brave it and make a dish. And they are saying desserts are fine. So let me make some lemon squares with my oven in a 90-some degree day. And that's what I'm going to do. But I hadn't made lemon squares in a long time, and I really like them. And it's not like, I think I mentioned in another video that it wasn't from scratch, but it's a recipe that's pretty basic, but it's not like I made it up on my own. So I think that's what I was intending to mean when I said it wasn't from scratch, because you are making it with all of the ingredients you have to buy. It's not like a box recipe or anything. But they're going to be good, and if nobody likes them, at least I get to take them home if the flies haven't claimed them, you know, since we'll be outdoors. So that'll be Sunday's activity. Tonight, well, at least after I finish filming, I have to wait for my video to convert so I can upload it, and then I'll be doing some chores while I wait before it gets too hot. I do have my weekend chores that I like to do: my deep clean, do my floors, do my dusting, and since we've had the fans on, they've been picking up all of the cat fur that's been around my home lately because the kitties are getting hot. So as I brush them, as they shed just on their own, we've been having an influx in fur. So I've been trying to keep it under control. And so tonight I have to do another sweep and mop and dust to get all the fuzzies taken care of. And hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to do, like I said, a film in the morning so that you guys have another video to keep you tied over till I come back on Thursday with the video. So, and I mentioned there is a sale. In my last video I mentioned Knitpicks is having a sale on their tools, and I've been eyeing everything because some stuff went out of stock, but I'm hoping they'll be able to stock it back before the end of the sale because some of it looks so cute. And I really like, there's this cat project bag, and it's not like I need another one, but it's really cute, and it's like cats and piles of yarn, and they're all kind of like interwoven with each other, and it's really cute. It's not even a color I like, but the cats, if it has cats on it, I'm a sucker, and I will buy it, and this is definitely one of those things. They also have like, well, the project bag is in stock, at least when I checked yesterday it was in stock, but the tote bag that I really liked more, because I could use that for a lot more things than just the project bag with the drawstring, that was out of stock, but it said coming soon, or available soon, so it's like soon, like before the end of the sale, or soon, like after the sale. Either way, it wasn't that much after, so if I have to wait until it comes back in stock, I could probably wait till another sale and get it again if it's like a staple piece that they'll keep in their line. But if not, oh well. But let me know, are you going to take advantage of the Knitpicks tools sale? Do you have anything that you already needed to get, and now that it's the reduced price, you're more inclined to make the purchase? Or are you not a fan of Knitpicks? I mentioned before I hadn't bought any yarn from them yet. I am using their Wool of the Andes yarn for the Tapestry project, but that yarn was provided to me by the Tapestry project's kit for this, but I haven't purchased any yarn on my own there. I've purchased some supplies, like I have my soaking tubs, and I think I bought something else. I can't remember what it was, but at least my soaking tubs came from them. But no yarn yet. And I did look at some sock yarn because I have two pairs of socks for sure that I need to have for the holidays knit, and I'm deciding on if I want to go with that Ray Light pattern that I was showing you on my practice pair, or if I want to do these socks I've knit already as a practice from a Knitting on the Weekend book. I forget the title exactly, but I have a pattern book that came from that coworker who gave me all her stuff. And that pattern uses a worsted weight yarn. And I knit them originally with acrylic, but I think using wool will be nice for the person who I knit them for. And I'm just thinking on speed or interesting pattern. And I could do one of both and see how I like them, and then see if I want to do another pair of socks, but I might wait until I've gotten a little further ahead in some of my other projects before I decide if I want to jump into 2 pairs of socks per person that I'm knitting. So that'd be 4 pairs of socks total. That, I don't know, we'll see. It's also on my wish list is one of the reduced things on the Knitpicks site is their sock blockers, and I talked about those when I was knitting the Ray Light socks and how it'd be nice to just have some so I can dangle them in the shower and have them dry in the bathroom with the window open so they get some airflow, and instead of blocking them on my blocking mats. So we'll see what happens with that. So I think I'll finish up this round and cut it short for today. I know the last video was super long, and I felt determined to get my stream of consciousness completed, even though it cut out in the middle of me talking about old record stores and music stores and my uncle and all of his DJ skills. But besides that, I think it was a good knitting session, and I have the project actually right here on the couch still from when I last spoke with you guys, and hopefully I will be able to catch up on that one too very soon. And I know I mentioned my big blanket. Now that it's super hot, I think I'll put that one aside for now and maybe knit just a little bit at a time, because I wasn't expecting the heat to change so quickly. But again, in the Midwest, it's going to be cold one day, and then you wake up and it's summer, and that's definitely what happened in this situation. So I don't think I want the big bulky stuff out right now while it's still very hot and while I don't have adequate cooling in this room. Though this room is the coolest in the home, it's still warm. But let's finish that row. Yay! Okay, so now we're at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So a little over half, a little less than halfway there, I guess. Because if it's 7, or if it's 6 stitches, bleh, if it's 6 stitches on each needle, and I am at 14, and 7 is half of that, and 6 is 1 less than half. So you get what I mean. Well, you can see here, let me zoom in, or let me just bring it closer. I don't have zoom. You can see our decreases all the way around. and then when you sew it up, it's just going to make this nice little edge thingy here, but you can see kind of where the point is, where it's coming up. And this one was interesting because, and the stockinette, well, I guess before I go, I'll tell you, and the stockinette cap, I had to decrease around, knit around, decrease around, knit around, but this one, it's just decreasing all the way up, so it makes a very abrupt point, and it's not as gradual as the other hat, and it is it's long, even with the folded cuff. And even though my uncle's head is big, I don't think it's that tall. It's just wide. So when he gets it, he will have to determine if he wants it to be shrinked or shrunk. Grammar Nazis, please don't attack me. I don't know. But smaller in size, so it has a shorter fit on his head. But my aunt is, I would say she's a seamstress. She's actually made these kitties that you see in some of my videos, and actually my blanket, or my pillows, and my blanket, and this pillow. This was actually last year's Christmas gift. But anyway, she sews, and she makes lots of cute stuffies and things, and she will probably be able to follow my over-the-phone instruction on how to safely shrink this hat if my uncle determines that it's too big for him. But the joke is that he has a big head, so if he can't handle it, that's on him. But all jokes aside, yes, I would like it to fit him well. I didn't want it to be too tight in the beginning, so we could always make it smaller if needed. So with that, if you are not already a puddle of melted human where you are, you're very lucky. And if you have AC or some kind of adequate cooling, you are also very lucky. And hopefully I will be able to join you in that department when I get a mic and can have my fan on to keep me cool while I'm in this room without taking away too much from the audio. So with that, I hope you have a good rest of your day. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.